Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
And so there was a recent controversy with the Christian Last Supper. It was mocked. It was a parody involving drag queens reenacting Leonardo da Vinci's famous painting in the Last Supper. Um, so you're quite upset about it. I know this because you're devout. So do you want to say a few words about it?
Well, I certainly do because it's been reported worldwide now by to be here. And there was a bit of work going on outside there today. I'll talk about that some other time. And it's marvelous. But this question, I come across it there when I was actually doing some videos or looking up something, and I saw this reported all over the world this blasphemy about the Last Supper, a parody of the Last Supper in the most worst taste of all, um, and it's regarded as blasphemy and diabolical. There's no sort of uh, whatever you like to call it. Well, it wasn't meant. It was meant as an attack on the Catholic faith. If they did that about the Muslims, what sort of a problem might they suffer from? Suffice to say that it's been caused outrage throughout the world. And all I know is that if I was um, had a competitors in the Olympics, which has taken place in Paris, I would withdraw them forthwith. I wouldn't pay them that respect to have my people running or whatever they do. It'd be just out. You can't do what they did about Catholics. Don't forget, there's over 1 billion Catholics in the world, and hopefully most of them practicing Catholics. There are, unfortunately, Catholics that are not practicing their Catholic faith, but nonetheless, they made their first holy, they were baptized, made their first holy communion confirmation, and did want to be advised to save their immortal souls and practice their Catholic faith, which is a gift. But it was blasphemed, and Catholics, priests, bishops, including now some in France for the change. The one in Paris leaves the Archbishop in Paris leaves a bit to be desired. We say nothing about him, and the President of France, Macron, he Macron or whatever, um, he wants to inflict the killing of the innocent on all sections of society. I hope it has been defeated because the make-up to this government that have now in France is a very shaky one because the people voted for common sense politics represented by by Marie Le Pen and what they call the National Front or the whatever it is, but they stand for decency and the pro-life. They don't stand for this mockery because France was known apparently in the past, going back centuries, to produce saints and also the like of Saint Bernadette of Lourdes and the Little Flower in the Little Flower Saint. She's in Lisieux and attending the convent there. She died very young, but she's a saint, and various other saints, and Vincent de Paul, Saint Vincent de Paul, was there. So it was known as the mother of the Catholic faith. But after the French Revolution, which was violently anti-Catholic, it went down the wrong road, and there's only so much Catholics can take, and they've gone a step too far. Now, I normally visited France, and I had good words to say about it. As a matter of fact, my friend Eamon's daughter Roisin and her friend Breda, they're gone to a place where in the Loire. No, I just can't think of the name of it, but it was where the in the Vendée where they rose up against the French Revolution, and 300,000 of them was butchered by that crowd. I don't know why an army would ever obey such evil people. And then Napoleon come into power, and then he went down another road. But suffice to say that France now has gone very secular, and they think they can insult the Catholic faith at every chance they get. We've experienced it here also in this country. And for example, I was looking at a program that was discussing this outrage in France, in Paris, at this inauguration, this presentation for the start of the Olympics. I noticed that some of the speakers mentioned Ireland and the diabolical Eurovision entrance that they had. I don't know if you remember anything about that, but I think I did remember, but I've forgotten about it. But it was mentioned when they were talking about this outrage in Paris about Ireland's and its Eurovision entry. Diabolical it was described as.
Now, John
So,
Malone,
yeah,
I'm going to give you
go
an
ahead,
update. I'm going to give you the latest update on it, okay?
go
So
ahead.
the Paris Olympics organizer says the drag performance was a nod to Greek mythology and not the Last Supper. He said it was to do with the idea was to have a pagan celebration connected to the gods of Olympus. So it had nothing to do with the Last Supper.
Don't be. You can just ignore that. Uh, People have ignored it. It's the most watery sort of a thing. It was a parody of the Last Supper. Uh, Everybody that saw it, this is it, and they've been outraged. They can come out with whatever they like, but they're not going to fool anybody, and they're certainly not going to fool John Malone of the Christian TV Ireland project. We hope we get donations because it's so important to stand up for the Catholic faith, not just in this country, but in every country. And I think it's a wake up call for Catholics not to put up with any more of this nonsense that they have to put up with. Um, there was an agenda years ago, that's another story, but we've just contemplate this an agenda by the eugenics Stokes in Britain and Sanger in the United States. And the idea was to control the population and to more or less the poorer people were the ones responsible for that. And they had an agenda to try and deal with it in what they call a humane way, but it was really quite evil. And so that was to control the population of the of the world. And what did it morph into? It morphed into abortion on demand and supported by governments, uh, the political establishment, the media, and certain people astray in the head. And they need to repent because, for example, in Paris, there was interference with the railway apparently before the Olympics. And now, apparently, last night in Paris, all the lights went out, and the only light that was on was in Sacre Coeur Cathedral in Montmartre, the only visible light in that darkness that descended on Paris last night. Some say it's chastisement, but we don't know if it's more um, whatever, whoever is behind all this the disturbance. So it seems to me if you were in Paris and you were perhaps on a lift or somewhere in a hotel or about to dine and never goes out and there's no lights at all, it must have been and in the restaurants or maybe walking the street. No, you don't walk the street in that sense. But Paris with wide boulevards and all the rest of it had a pretty good image, but it's lost that image now. There's been a gradual erosion of the Christian Catholic believing in life from conception to natural death. When they go down the road that have gone down, and this blasphemy, don't mind what they said. If you believe that, you believe pigs jumping over the moon or something. Forget about that ideology. Um, this is what they've done, and there's been bishops and priests and lay people condemning it. And John Malone of the Christian TV Ireland does likewise. And as regards visiting France, and I often supported it because I found it a cultural place, but now yours truly will never be visiting that place again. And I venture to say their tourist industry will suffer unless people, of course, are all the visitor anti-Catholic bigots. But I certainly wouldn't be able. And if I had a team there, I'd withdraw them from the competition because I wouldn't support anybody that does that and then makes paltry excuses about it. It was a parody of the Last Supper, and that's the way people viewed it, and the whole lot was absolutely dreadful.
So there you go. I wouldn't take much. I wouldn't pay much heed to it. I just think it was just one of those usual publicity stunts you'll have at the Olympics, and nothing more than that. And I just
Well,
don't
you
think.
see, unfortunately, I don't support your views there, Oliver. In a fit. It was a blasphemy of the worst order, and they needn't be pussyfooting around it and making out something else.
I think.
It has gone worldwide and it's been condemned.
I think.
One or two will make allowances, like your good self, but certainly I don't make any allowances whatsoever.
No, I'm not making allowances. What I'm saying is, really, I suppose what I'm saying is that they've left themselves down. They don't represent the majority, I'm sure, of gay people. This was like a kind of a political stunt. And if you look at the political side of LGBT, they don't represent the majority of gay people. So I would say
No,
that
no,
this.
I didn't say anything about gay people. I said that it was a parody of the Last Supper. I presume that they were whatever they were. They
There
were
were drag queens and,
grotesquely.
and
Yeah, that kind of thing. Well, you see, they've been inflicting that on children, and they've been doing various things. So it's time now to call stop. And we know now that whatever the agenda was of this Stokes and Sanger, with what their eugenics, we know now that over 1 billion innocent children have been aborted since it started. That's a very substantial amount, and there'll be prices to be paid for that evil. God will not be mocked, full stop. And there's no allowances whatsoever for what they did. And they can whoop and poof and blow the house down, but nobody is going to believe whatever they say or whatever nonsense. I believe they're trying to delete everything on the internet that has happened about it, but it's already out there, so they're wasting their time. And I don't think they'll be getting too many tourists as a result of that, not Catholics anyway. Maybe other atheists and people at that caliber, but not Catholics. I certainly will never be visiting it again, no matter what.
very good, very good. So there we go. Anyway, hopefully it'll all get sorted out. It's a bit late, I suppose, but anyway, nothing can be done at this stage.
The
It's
harm is
done.
done,
The harm
and
is done.
the harm is done. And when the harm is done, the only thing is a proper apology, a proper apology. But what they offered is nearly worse. It's it's kind of, we didn't mean this and didn't mean that. You don't do what they did and think that it's not ours. It was dreadful. So okay, Oliver, I hope it doesn't, and that kind of thing doesn't happen again. These drag queens are an absolute dread, and they're trying to destroy the young youth and all the rest of it, but with the gender and all the rest of it. So it's time to say stop.
Thank you very much, John.
Okay, Oliver.
Thank you.
Bye.